Rain hammered the hospital awning as Maya Ellis stepped onto the curb, clutching her tote bag to her chest. Her shift had run 2 hours over, and her legs trembled with exhaustion, but the cold night air felt like freedom after 12 hours of fluorescent light and dying monitors. She moved toward her car, only to freeze when red and blue lights exploded across the parking lot. A squad car slid in front of her, tires slicing puddles. Officer Kane Burke stepped out, tall, pale, jaw tight with a kind of anger that didn't need a reason. "You!" he barked, pointing at her. "Stop right there." Maya blinked. "Is something wrong, officer? Don't play dumb." His flashlight snapped up, blinding her. Rain streaked across the beam like shattered glass. "This is a restricted area. Employees only." Her pulse stumbled. "I am an employee." "Sure you are." His laugh was thin, sharp. "Show me your badge. Or your stolen keys. Whatever you people use." The words slid under her skin like a blade. She took a slow breath, fingers trembling as she reached into her pocket. Kane stepped closer, hand resting on his holster. "Move any faster," he muttered, "and you'll regret it." For a moment the world narrowed. Rain, metal, the harsh smell of wet asphalt. Maya's badge slipped from her fingers and hit the ground with a tiny, humiliating sound. Kane bent, picked it up, stared. His eyes changed, confusion first, then something darker. "What exactly," he said, voice dropping, "do you think you're doing here?" And the radio on his shoulder crackled with a message that froze Maya's breath. Rain drummed steadily on the roof of Maya Ellis's car as she approached it, keys clenched between damp fingers. She whispered, "Just get home," under her breath. Another double shift, another night of sirens and heartbreak. She needed sleep more than anything. "Hey!" a voice snapped through the rain. "Stop right there." Her stomach tightened. She turned slowly. A police cruiser idled behind her, lights off but presence heavy. The officer stepped out, tall, pale, square jaw, eyes already narrowed like he'd made up his mind. "Officer Kane Burke. Is something wrong?" Maya asked. "Yeah," he said, circling her like she was a shadow instead of a person. "You don't belong here." "I'm a nurse," she said softly. "I just finished my shift." Badge." She held it up. He didn't look at it. "Put your bag down. It contains medical equipment. Personal items." "Bag. Down." Maya said it on the wet pavement. Kane leaned close. "Funny how people show up where they shouldn't." "People," she echoed. "You know what I said." She bit the inside of her cheek. "Officer, I've worked here for 6 years." Kane shone his light directly in her eyes. "Then act like it." 2 nurses exiting the hospital slowed their steps but kept distance. Maya heard one whisper, "Don't get involved." Kane glanced at them, then back at her. "What's in the bag?" "Work items." "I'll decide that." She straightened. "You don't have probable." He stepped forward. "Don't test me." Her breathing quickened. The rain felt colder. A hospital supervisor pushed through the doors. "Mr. Langston, tie loose," phone to his ear. "Officer, is there an issue?" Kane barely looked at him. "Routine check," Maya said. "He thinks I'm trespassing." Langston froze, eyes darting. "Officer, she works here." "Does she?" Kane held up her badge like it was counterfeit. "Yes," Langston said quickly. "She's one of our senior nurses." Kane's jaw tightened. "Stay out of this." Langston stepped back instantly, head bowed. Maya felt her chest sink. Even here, on hospital grounds, authority bent away from her. Kane lifted the badge to the ID reader beside the staff entrance. Beep. Green light. Maya swallowed. "Satisfied?" "No," he said. "Not yet." She stared at him, anger warming her throat. "I've done nothing wrong. That's what they all say." She inhaled sharply. "They. You heard me." For a moment they stood silent in the rain. The world narrowed to breath, asphalt, and authority used like a weapon. Then his radio crackled. "Unit 12, suspicious individual reported near the south wing." Kane answered, eyes still on Maya. Copy. Already investigating. Her pulse skidded. Investigating me. Drive safe, he said flatly, stepping back. I'll be around. Maya picked up her bag, climbed into her car, and shut the door with trembling hands. She didn't start the engine immediately. She sat staring through the soaked windshield as Kane pulled away slowly, deliberately, like he wanted her to know the night wasn't over. Her phone buzzed. A message from security. Report filed under your name. Officer claims you refused lawful instructions. Come see us tomorrow. Maya's breath caught. Tomorrow was already waiting to swallow her whole. Rain still whispered against the apartment windows when Maya woke the next morning. Her body stiff, her mind fogged from restless sleep. She sat up slowly, rubbing a hand across her face. The confrontation replayed the moment she opened her eyes. Kane's flashlight, his voice, her badge dropping to the pavement. From the kitchen came the clink of a mug. Her younger sister Talia called out, "You're up?" Finally. Maya shuffled in, pulling her sweater tight around her. Barely. Talia watched her closely. You didn't sleep. No. What happened? Maya sat at the table. A police officer stopped me at work. Accused me of trespassing. Treated me like I was something else. Talia stiffened. Again. Maya nodded. What did he say this time? Maya exhaled slowly. He said I didn't belong there. That I was one of those people. He tried to search my bag. Talia set her mug down hard. Harassment. Straight up harassment. Yes. Did you record anything? No. It was raining. I panicked. I've seen what happens when people pull out phones too early. Talia cursed under her breath. What now? Maya reached for her phone and slid it across the table. Security sent me a message. There's a report with my name on it. I'm supposed to see them today. Talia's eyes widened. They filed something against you. He claimed I refused instructions. Talia shook her head. You need to speak to someone higher up. I will. But first I have to go in. Maya looked at her cold tea. I don't want to. I don't want to walk into that building and feel like people are staring. They probably will, Talia said honestly. But that's why you go. Maya managed a small, tired smile. You always know what to say. And you always avoid conflict until it pins you down. Talia squeezed her hand. You don't deserve this, Maya. I know. Then fight. Maya nodded, though her chest still felt tight. The hospital lobby buzzed with the usual morning chaos. Scrubs rushing, phones ringing, carts rattling. Yet as Maya stepped inside, she felt eyes. Quick darting glances. Conversations ending as she passed. 2 janitors stood near the elevators. Is that her? One murmured. Yeah. Security was talking about it. Her stomach twisted. She approached the security office. Inside, Officer Grant leaned back in his chair, looking at her like she'd interrupted his lunch. Ms. Ellis. It's Nurse Ellis, she corrected quietly. Right. He tapped the computer. We have a report filed from last night. I saw the message. Grant nodded. Officer Burke says you refused to comply during a safety check. That's not what happened. He says you were evasive. I was coming off a 12-hour shift. I told him I worked here. Grant raised an eyebrow. But you didn't hand over your bag when asked. There was no reason to ask. He was profiling me. Grant's tone cooled. Please be careful with language like that. Maya stiffened. Language like what? Accusing an officer of racial bias. I didn't accuse. I stated what occurred. Grant sighed, clearly annoyed. Look, I'm not here to debate. Just documenting things. You'll need to sign this acknowledgement. He slid a printed sheet toward her. Maya scanned it. He says I was aggressive, she whispered. That's his statement. I wasn't, she said firmly. Grant shrugged. Sign that you received it. Doesn't mean you agree. She hesitated. And if I don't sign? We note non-cooperation. Just sign. Grant type something. You're free to go. Maya left in silence. Her supervisor, Dr. Venner, called her in the moment she reached the nurse's station. Maya, come in. She stepped inside his office, closing the door. He sighed heavily, gesturing to the chair. I saw the report. Then you know it's wrong, she said. He pinched the bridge of his nose. The hospital wants to avoid conflict with the police department. Maya leaned forward. So what? My safety doesn't matter. That's not what I'm saying. Then what are you saying? He exhaled. Look, you know how politics work around here. Police get a lot of leeway. Especially Officer Burke. So you know him, Maya said quietly. Everyone knows him. Venner looked troubled. He files more incident reports than any officer in this district. He's aggressive. And you're telling me to keep my head down. I'm telling you to be careful. Don't escalate it. I didn't escalate anything. That's not how the department will see it. Maya's voice shook. So your advice is to stay quiet while he lies about me. Venner met her eyes with a strained expression. For now. No, she stood. I'm going to formally document everything he did. Maya. I'm not asking permission. Venner sighed again, defeated. All right. But be prepared for pushback. I already am. Later, during her lunch break, Maya sat alone in the staff garden, scribbling details into a notebook. Hey, a voice said. Jason, an ER medic, approached with 2 coffees. Heard about last night. Maya tensed. Who told you? Security guys. They're not subtle. He handed her a coffee. You okay? No, she admitted. But I'm dealing with it. You shouldn't have to. What he did was messed up. Everyone knows what he did, but nobody stops him, she said. Jason nodded grimly. Last month he hassled a black resident leaving his shift. Guy nearly quit. Maya stared. They let him keep doing this. He's protected, Jason said. His sergeant loves him. Calls him proactive. Maya took a shaking breath. I'm filing a complaint. Good. You should. He paused. Just be careful. He holds grudges. She stared down at her notebook. So do I. Jason gave her a small nod. If you need someone to walk you to your car tonight, I will. Thank you, she said softly. As her shift ended, she felt the hospital's weight pressing into her bones. She walked to her car in the dim evening light, half expecting to see Kane's cruiser. He wasn't there. But the fear remained. She tightened her grip on her keys. This wasn't over. Not even close. Officer Kane Burke leaned back in the precinct break room, boots crossed, styrofoam cup in hand. The TV above him droned with morning traffic updates, but he barely heard it. His mind replayed the previous night. The rain, the parking lot, the nurse's stubborn quiet. He muttered, didn't listen. None of them ever listen. Officer Riker dropped into the seat across from him. Heard you filed another report. Routine, Kane said. Riker raised an eyebrow. That what we're calling it now? Kane smirked. If people acted right, I wouldn't have to check them. Riker laughed. Sure. What was she doing? Loitering. Acting suspicious. Wouldn't follow instructions. You mean she didn't jump when you snapped your fingers? Kane didn't appreciate the tone. I gave her every chance. Aha, Riker said, biting into a donut. Word is she works there. Kane bristled. So, didn't have her badge ready. Bag looked off. Whole demeanor screamed trouble. Riker shrugged. You do you. But you know who her boss is. No, and I don't care. Riker leaned in. Some health administrator. Big title. Sits on committees with city officials. So she has friends who can complain. Doesn't change how she acted. Riker whistled. Watch yourself, man. People like that can cause headaches. Kane rolled his eyes. People like that, he repeated slowly, need reminding this city has rules. Whatever you say, Riker chuckled. Later in the squad room, Sergeant Merrill called him over. Burke. Report. Kane handed the paperwork over. Merrill skimmed it. Non-compliance. Suspicious behavior. Evasive. Matches your usual. Kane bristled. I did everything by protocol. I'm sure you did, Merrill said. Just understand, some folks downtown get touchy about public optics. Especially when it involves hospital staff. Kane snorted. Oh please. Merrill's voice hardened. Listen. You've had 3 complaints this quarter. All bogus. Doesn't matter. They stack up. Just make sure this one doesn't blow up. Kane stiffened. If she didn't want trouble, she should have followed instructions. Merrill nodded slowly. That's the spirit. Stay proactive. Proactive. Kane liked that word. Made him sound like a protector instead of a watchdog looking for someone to collar. He left Merrill's desk with renewed purpose. During the afternoon patrol, Kane narrated his thoughts aloud as he drove, a habit others found strange but he found clarifying. She was lying, he muttered. People don't hesitate unless they're hiding something. His partner for the shift, Officer Dalton, glanced over. You're still talking about that nurse. She had an attitude. She was tired, Dalton said. She just got off work. Kane shrugged. Doesn't matter. Respect is universal. Dalton sighed. Sometimes I think you go looking for fights. Kane's jaw tightened. Sometimes I think you don't look hard enough. Man, Dalton said, shaking his head. You're gonna get yourself in trouble one of these days. Kane scoffed. Trouble doesn't stick to me. Dalton didn't respond. An hour later they pulled into a gas station. Kane stepped out to stretch his legs. A group of teenagers stood near the entrance. They quieted as he approached. He glared at them. Move along. One of them frowned. We're just waiting for. I said move. They exchanged looks, murmuring but drifted away. Dalton sighed from the patrol car. Man, you can't help yourself. Kane climbed back in. I keep order. That's the job. Dalton murmured. Depends on whose order. Excuse me. Nothing, Dalton said quickly. Kane stared at him for a long moment, then started the engine. Back at the precinct, he found Riker again, leaning against the lockers. You here? Riker asked. Hear what? Security guy at the hospital said the nurse looked pissed today. Said she was talking to supervisors. Kane smirked. Let her talk. She might file something. She can file whatever she wants. My report stands. Riker crossed his arms. Burke. You sure you want to double down on this one? Absolutely, Kane said. I need to show there are consequences for disrespect. Riker blinked. Consequences? Yeah. From her, or you. Kane stepped closer. What's your point? I'm just saying people are watching. And she's not some random resident. She has pull. Kane's jaw clenched. She has attitude. That's it. Riker sighed. Whatever. Just don't drag the rest of us down with you. At home, Kane tossed his keys onto the kitchen counter, grabbed a beer and sank onto the couch. He turned on the TV but didn't watch. His mind kept replaying her expression. Tired, controlled, defiant. She thought she could talk back, he muttered. It bothered him more than he wanted to admit. The calm way she'd said, I've worked here for 6 years. Like she expected him to believe her. Like she thought her word mattered as much as his. He hated the discomfort that crept up whenever someone like her pushed boundaries. Boundaries needed to stay where they were. He took a long drink. His phone buzzed. A message from Sergeant Merrill. FYI. City Health Office asked for names of officers involved in last night's ID check. Keep everything clean. Kane's chest tightened. Already stirring trouble, he muttered. But under the frustration came something else, an unease he refused to name. He set the phone face down, cracked open another beer, and turned up the volume on the TV until the room drowned everything else out. The streetlights flickered against Maya's windshield as she pulled onto Westbriar Road, exhaustion dragging at her shoulders. It was just after 9 p.m., and she'd stayed late charting patient notes and finalizing medication logs. She wanted nothing but to get home, shower, and forget the weight of the day. Her phone buzzed with a text from Talia. "Home yet?" She typed back at a stoplight. 5 minutes. Then the red and blue lights exploded behind her. Her stomach dropped. "No," she whispered. "Not again." She pulled over slowly, hands gripping the wheel. A door slammed. Heavy footsteps approached. Kane Burke. She closed her eyes. Of course. He rapped on her window. "License and registration." She rolled the window down an inch. "Officer Burke. That's not what I asked for." Maya kept her voice steady. "Why am I being stopped? Your left turn looked unsteady." "I made a normal left turn." "That's your opinion." Maya inhaled carefully. "I would like to know the exact violation." "Step out of the vehicle." "No," she said immediately. Kane's jaw shifted. "Excuse me. I am legally allowed to remain in my vehicle unless you have reasonable suspicion of a crime. You refusing my order." "I'm refusing an unlawful order." Kane leaned down, eyes narrowing. "You want to play smart tonight?" "No," she said. "I want to get home safely." He tapped the door. Hard. "License. Registration. Now." She handed both through the window. He looked at them, scoffing. "You again?" "Yes," she said quietly. "What are you doing in this part of town?" "Driving home," she said. "Same as anyone." Kane smirked. "Sure." She forced her breath to stay even. "This is harassment." His smile vanished. "Careful. I'm allowed to say what's happening." He stepped closer. "You recording this?" "Yes," she said, holding her phone visibly. "For my safety." Kane snorted. "Typical." Before she could respond, a car slowed behind them. A man leaned out the window. "Hey. Everything okay?" "Move along," Kane barked. The driver hesitated. "She looks scared, man." "Move." The car drove away, but slower than Kane liked. Maya gripped the wheel tighter. "Officer, can you please return my documents?" "After I run them," he said. "Sit tight." He walked back to his cruiser, muttering into his radio. Maya watched him through her mirror. How he lingered, how he glanced again and again at her car. Her phone buzzed. "Talia, why aren't you home?" Maya typed with trembling fingers. "Pulled over." "Talia, what? Do you want me to come?" Maya. "Not yet." Her headlights reflected off wet asphalt. She swallowed. Her throat burned. Kane returned, tapping her window again. "Step out of the car." "No." "Step out." "State your cause," she said, refusing to move. "You were swerving." "No, I wasn't." Kane's voice dropped. "Step out or I escalate." "Are you threatening me?" Kane leaned in so close she could see raindrops clinging to his eyelashes. "I'm giving you options." Before he could continue, a voice called from down the sidewalk. "Maya. Is that you?" Kane stiffened. Maya looked over. Dr. Alston, one of the senior physicians, walked toward them carrying a grocery bag. "Hey, why are you pulled over?" Kane raised a hand. "Sir, stay back." Alston ignored the gesture. "Maya, are you okay?" "I'm fine," she said, though her voice wavered. Kane glared at her. "You know him." "She works at the hospital," Alston snapped. "She's one of our best nurses." "What exactly is the problem?" Kane straightened, annoyed. "She made an improper turn." "No, she didn't," Alston said. "I was 2 cars behind her. She drove perfectly." Kane's eye twitched. "Sir," I said, "step back." "Oh, relax," Alston said, waving a hand. "Give her back her documents and stop wasting her time." Kane stiffened. Alston crossed his arms. "Or would you prefer I call the hospital board and let them know one of my staff is being targeted?" Maya saw Kane's jaw shift, struggling between anger and restraint. His eyes flicked back to her, cold and simmering. He shoved her license and registration toward her window. "You're free to go," Alston muttered. "Unbelievable." Kane stepped back, but Maya saw it, the dangerous spark in his eyes, the promise of retaliation. She started her car. Before she drove off, Kane leaned down again. "Record this part too," he said, voice low. "This isn't over." Maya froze. Alston stepped forward. "Did you just threaten her?" Kane walked back to his cruiser without answering. Maya pulled away with shaking hands. She parked at the nearest gas station, heart pounding. She texted Talia. "I'm okay. I'd help. Coming home." Then she replayed the recording. Kane's voice. His threat. His tone. A knot formed in her stomach. She whispered, "This is spiraling." The door opened and a woman stepped out of the convenience store. She paused near Maya's car. "You all right? I saw the lights back there." Maya nodded weakly. "I'm fine." "You sure?" the woman asked. He looked heated. He was, Maya admitted. The woman hesitated. "I got part of it on video. From my car. If you need it." Maya blinked. "You filmed it?" "Yeah." "You looked scared." Maya swallowed hard. "Can you send it to me?" "Of course." They exchanged numbers. The video transferred. Maya watched 30 seconds of it. Kane's stance, his tone, her stillness. It was enough to feel the tremor in her chest. "Thank you," she said quietly. "Stay safe," the woman murmured before walking off. When Maya finally reached home, Talia was waiting at the door. "What happened?" Talia demanded. "Second encounter," Maya said tiredly. "Worse." Talia covered her mouth. "Oh my God. He ordered me out of my car. Tried to intimidate me again." Talia's eyes filled with fear and fury. "This is escalating. You need help, Maya." "I know." "Then let's get it." Maya stared down at her shaking hands. She nodded. "This time," she whispered, "I'm fighting back." Maya sat in the small conference room of the hospital's HR department, her notebook open, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. The walls were bare except for a framed poster about workplace inclusivity, a hollow comfort considering the circumstances. Across from her sat Ms. Davenport, the HR manager, expression stiff and overly polite. "So," Davenport said, folding her hands, "you're formally filing a complaint against Officer Burke?" "Yes," Maya replied. "After 2 incidents. 2 alleged incidents." Maya inhaled slowly. "They're not alleged. They're documented." Davenport clicked her pen. "Let's walk through everything carefully." Maya opened her notebook. First incident, hospital parking lot. "He accused me of trespassing, tried to search my bag, refused to acknowledge my badge even after it scanned." Davenport nodded mechanically. "And the second?" "He pulled me over for a fabricated traffic violation. Ordered me out of the car. I refused because he had no legal cause. Doctor saw everything. A bystander recorded part of it." "Do you have the recording?" Davenport asked. "Yes." Maya slid her phone across the table. "And I have witnesses." Davenport tapped her nails against the table. "I see." Maya watched her carefully. "Do you?" Davenport cleared her throat. "Let's be realistic. Filing a complaint against law enforcement is complicated." "Complicated for who?" Maya asked. "For the truth. For accountability." Davenport avoided her gaze. "The police department has a relationship with the hospital. Joint trainings, shared emergency protocols, community partnerships." Maya felt anger rise. "So my safety comes second." "That's not what I said." "It's what you meant." Davenport sighed. "I'm advising caution. Officer Burke has been with the department for years. He's assertive." Maya blinked. "Assertive. He threatened me." Davenport raised both hands, palms up. "Let's not exaggerate." He said, "This isn't over." How is that not a threat? Davenport leaned back. We will document your report. But I cannot promise how quickly this will move. Maya tightened her grip on her notebook. I understand. But I'm filing it anyway. Davenport scribbled something. You'll receive an acknowledgement email within the week. A week? Maya asked incredulously. Processing takes time. Maya stood, closing her notebook. So does injustice, she said softly. But it still arrives on time. Davenport didn't respond. Leaving HR, Maya walked through the hallway feeling hollow. A respiratory tech glanced at her with sympathy. A receptionist looked away quickly. Jason, the medic, caught up with her near the cafeteria. Hey, he said. How'd it go? Exactly how you'd expect, Maya replied. Jason grimaced. They brushed it off. They buried it, she said. Nicely. Politely. But buried. Jason swore under his breath. You need outside help. I know. You want me to come to the precinct with you? Maya shook her head. Not yet. I need to gather everything first. Jason nodded. Whatever you need. She appreciated the sincerity in his voice, but the knot in her stomach tightened. She couldn't rely on the hospital. She had to protect herself. After her shift, Maya drove to her parents' house. Talia greeted her at the door, arms crossed. Tell me everything. Maya dropped onto the couch. HR minimized everything. Said filing against police is complicated. Said Burke is assertive. Talia scoffed. Assertive. He's dangerous. Her mother emerged from the kitchen, wiping her hands. Baby, sit up straight. What's going on? Maya recounted both incidents. Her mother's face darkened. Absolutely not, her mother said. We aren't letting this go. Maya's father walked in from the backyard, overhearing the last part. What happened now? Talia answered before Maya could. A cop harassed her. Twice. Her father froze. The same one. Yes. He sat down heavily. This is serious. I know, Maya whispered. Her father looked at her carefully. Did you file a complaint? Yes. And? They brushed me off. Her father clenched his jaw. You should go public. Maya shook her head. Not yet. I want to handle it professionally first. Her mother sat beside her. Just be careful, Maya. Men like that. They don't like being challenged. I'm not challenging him, she said quietly. I'm telling the truth. Same thing to him, her father murmured. The next morning Maya opened her email. A message from the police department. Your complaint has been received. An internal review will begin when resources allow. No timeline. No urgency. She exhaled sharply. Of course. Another email popped up, this one from the hospital's media liaison. We are aware of rumors regarding a video circulating online. Please refrain from commenting publicly until further notice. She frowned. Video? What video? Then her phone vibrated. A message from the woman who filmed the encounter. Someone anonymously posted the clip last night. It's getting traction. Maya's heart skipped. She opened social media. There it was. 30 seconds of her second encounter. Kane's stance. Her shaking voice. His threat. Already thousands of views. Comments scrolling. This man needs to be suspended. She handled herself with so much control. Another officer abusing his badge. Protect black women. Her pulse quickened. She set the phone down, breath shuddering. Talia burst into her room. Did you see it? It's everywhere. I just did. People are furious. They're tagging the mayor's office, the police chief, everyone. Maya sat on the edge of the bed. I didn't want this. But you need this, Talia said. Now they can't ignore it. Maya stared at the floor. I didn't want to be a headline. You're not, Talia said softly. You're a warning. A witness. But now I'm exposed. That scares me. I know, Talia whispered. But you're not alone. 2 hours later, Maya's supervisor called. Maya, Dr. Venner said, voice tight. We have a situation. I know about the video. It's drawing attention we don't want. I didn't post it. I'm not accusing you. But reporters are calling. They want statements. About me. Yes. Maya swallowed. What do you want me to say? I want you to say nothing, he said. The hospital cannot be involved. She felt the sting. I am the hospital. I work here. And we value you, he replied. But you must remain neutral. Neutral about trauma, she asked. Neutral about publicity, he corrected. Maya closed her eyes. No. No. Venner repeated. I won't be silent about what happened to me. Venner sighed. Then you may be on your own. Maya ended the call without replying. She stared at her phone, heart pounding. Every system she belonged to was bending away from her. But the truth was no longer in her hands. It was out in the open, spreading, gathering momentum. And Kane would see it. By morning, the video had passed 50,000 views. By noon, it hit 200,000. And by the time Maya stepped outside for her lunch break, reporters were waiting near the hospital gate. A woman holding a mic called out, Ms. Ellis. Maya. Can we ask about the police encounter? Maya froze. 2 cameramen turned toward her. She instinctively stepped back. Jason appeared beside her, whispering, Keep walking. Don't engage. But the reporters trailed behind them. Do you feel the officer targeted you because of your race? Were you threatened? Do you plan to file a lawsuit? Has the city reached out? Maya's throat tightened. She didn't answer, didn't lift her head, just pushed through the crowd until she reached the staff-only door. As soon as it shut behind her, she leaned against it, heart hammering. Jason touched her shoulder. Hey, breathe. I didn't ask for this, she whispered. I know. But people saw injustice and reacted. That's not your fault. Feels like it. You didn't do anything wrong, Jason said softly. Maya nodded, though the world still spun. Inside the hospital, whispers chased her everywhere she went. That's the nurse from the video. Poor thing. She must be terrified. Did she provoke him? No way. Did you hear how calm she was? She tried to shut it out, focusing on patients, medication charts, 4 lines. But every few minutes, her phone buzzed with notifications. Tweets. Messages. Hashtags forming. Hashtag nurse Maya, hashtag protect, black women, hashtag stop Burke. She refused to look at the notifications. She refused to read comments. She refused to let the world swallow her whole. But then her phone buzzed again. This time an unknown number. She almost ignored it. But answered. Ms. Ellis. A voice said. This is Lauren Pierce from Channel 7 News. Maya's stomach dropped. I'm at work. I can't. I understand. But the public is demanding accountability. Your voice could help protect others. I'm not ready for interviews. Pierce hesitated. Off the record. The mayor's office called us this morning. They're asking questions about the officer involved. Maya blinked. The mayor? Yes. More specifically, the mayor's public safety liaison. They want context for what happened. Maya exhaled shakily. Why are you telling me this? Because I think you should know. You're not the only one who sees this as bigger than a traffic stop. Maya didn't reply. Whenever you're ready, Pierce added gently. We'd be honored to hear your side. She hung up. Her knees felt weak. Bigger than a traffic stop. Bigger than harassment. Something was moving, something she didn't control. Meanwhile, across town, the atmosphere in the precinct was toxic. Kane slammed his locker shut so loudly the metal rang. Riker looked over from the bench, brow raised. What's your problem? Kane spun. You didn't see the video. Oh, I saw it, Riker said. Everyone did. You look bad. She recorded me. She planned that. Riker shook his head. It wasn't her angle that got people mad. It was your tone. My tone. Kane barked. I followed procedure. You followed whatever version of procedure you think exists in your head. Kane stepped closer. Don't start. Riker lifted both hands. Just saying what everyone else is saying. Everyone else can shut up. Sergeant Merrill approached, expression tight. Burke. My office. Now. Kane followed him in, heart thudding. Merrill shut the door. You created a mess. Me. She posted that video. Doesn't matter who posted it. What matters is optics, and right now you've dragged this precinct into the spotlight. Kane gritted his teeth. She didn't comply. I had every right. Merrill slammed a folder onto his desk. You had no right to threaten someone on camera. I didn't threaten. Merrill flipped open the folder, revealing a typed transcript. Record this part too, you said. This isn't over. That is not standard protocol. Kane stared. Merrill leaned in. You're on thin ice, Burke. Real thin. The mayor's office wants answers. The mayor? Kane whispered. No, Merrill corrected sharply. Public safety officials. Including the county health department. Kane swallowed. Health department? Yes, Merrill said. Apparently the woman you keep harassing works high up there. Kane felt something twist in his chest. She's just a nurse. Not just. Merrill tapped the papers. You need to watch yourself. Kane left the office with a dark scowl, humiliation crawling up his neck. He didn't understand how she suddenly had this much influence. She shouldn't. She shouldn't have the power to put him under investigation. And yet, she did. Back at the hospital, Maya sat in the staff lounge, scrolling slowly through the emails that kept arriving. One was from a civil rights attorney offering representation. Another from a local advocacy group asking if she needed support. Another from a hospital board member asking to speak privately. She rubbed her temples. This is too much. The lounge door opened. Dr. Alston entered with a warm smile. There you are. Dr. Alston, she said. Thank you again for helping me that night. Of course. But listen, I saw the clip. It's clear he overstepped. He did, she agreed quietly. I was thinking, you should speak publicly. Your voice carries weight. I don't want to be the center of attention. You already are, Alston said softly. But you can choose how to use that. Maya looked down. I'm scared. Then speak scared, he said gently. Courage isn't talking when you're strong, it's talking when you're shaking. His words hit her deeply. That evening, Maya sat at her kitchen table with her laptop open, camera on, and Channel 7 News reporter Lauren Pierce on the screen. You ready? Pierce asked. Maya inhaled. No. But I'll do it anyway. Pierce smiled. Whenever you're comfortable, just tell us what happened. In your own words. Maya began quietly. My name is Maya Ellis. I'm a nurse. And 2 nights ago, I was pulled over without cause. Her hands trembled, but her voice did not break. She spoke about fear. About dignity. About how systems crumble when people look away. Pierce nodded along gently. And what do you want from this? The reporter asked. Accountability, Maya said. And safety, not just for me, but for anyone who's ever been told they don't belong. Pierce's expression softened. Thank you, Maya. Truly. When the interview ended, Maya closed her laptop and covered her face with her hands. Talia peeked in from the hallway. How do you feel? Exposed, Maya whispered. But relieved. Talia nodded. Good. Because it's already airing tonight. Maya's heart skipped. Tonight. Tonight, Talia said. And people are listening. Across the city, televisions switched to Channel 7. And Officer Kane Burke watched from his dim living room, jaw locked, beer bottle trembling slightly in his hand. As Maya's face appeared on screen, he whispered, You're not ruining me. But he didn't sound convinced. The conference room on the 4th floor of the public safety building buzzed with quiet tension. City officials moved in and out of seats, whispering, checking notes, adjusting microphones. A long polished table stretched across the room, nameplates placed neatly in front of each assigned chair. Officer Kane Burke stepped inside with his sergeant, shoulders squared, expression rigid. He scanned the room. Health officials on one side, police command on the other. Cameras from the city's internal documentation team sat in the corner, red lights blinking. "This is pointless," Kane muttered under his breath. Sergeant Merrill shot him a warning look. "Keep your mouth shut. We're here to smooth things over." Kane smirked. "With who?" "Some nurse." Merrill didn't answer. At the head of the table, an empty chair waited. Kane frowned. "Who's leading this meeting?" "Chief Reynolds." "No," Merrill murmured. "Someone from the health department is co-chairing today." Kane rolled his eyes. "The health department doesn't lead meetings with police." "They do for emergency coordination," Merrill said. Kane scoffed. "Whatever. Let's get this over with." A few council aides whispered quietly as the remaining seats filled. Then the door opened. Every conversation in the room stopped. Maya Ellis stepped inside wearing a fitted navy blazer, ID badge clipped to her side, hair neatly tied back. She held a thick binder under one arm, her expression calm, composed, and weary in a way that came from weeks of battling systems larger than herself. Kane's face went blank. Maya walked to the empty chair at the head of the table. He blinked. "No. No way." Maya placed her binder down, pulled out her chair, and sat confidently. A city official stood. "Good afternoon, everyone. We'll begin today's joint coordination meeting between the Department of Public Safety and the County Health Department. As always, the meeting is co-chaired by Director Ellis." Director. The word hit Kane like a blow. He leaned toward Merrill, whispering fiercely, "What the hell is this?" Merrill whispered back, "She's in charge here. Keep quiet." Kane felt a surge of heat crawl up his neck. "She's a nurse. She's the director of the county health department," Merrill said, jaw tight. "Meaning she oversees public health operations, emergency response, hospital coordination, and half the funding requests that come through this building." Kane stared at Maya's back, disbelief twisting inside him. "She never said." "She didn't have to," Merrill growled. The official continued. "Director Ellis will begin with last week's updates." Maya lifted her gaze. Controlled. Professional. "Thank you," she said. "As many of you know, our region's emergency response protocols are being reviewed. We've identified gaps in collaboration with law enforcement, particularly concerning the well-being of essential medical staff." Kane felt the room stiffen around him. She didn't look at him yet. She looked everywhere else. Commanders, sergeants, city liaisons, each eye contact gentle, unshaken. "We need stronger protections for hospital workers," Maya continued. "Nurses, doctors, technicians. Many finish late shifts in dangerous conditions. Some experience aggression or unwarranted confrontations." Few officials nodded. "Which brings us," she added quietly, "to the most recent incident under review." Kane's heart thudded. Maya finally turned her eyes toward him. The room held its breath. She spoke evenly. "Officer Burke." Merrill shot Kane a warning glance. "Say nothing." Kane swallowed hard. Maya continued. "You conducted 2 encounters with one of my staff members, myself." Kane stiffened. His fingers dug into the table's edge. Those incidents were standard procedure. Maya's expression didn't change. "Is it standard procedure to accuse a hospital employee of trespassing on hospital property after a double shift?" Kane's jaw clenched. "You didn't present your badge properly. You refused to look at it." Murmurs rippled around the table. "And," Maya said calmly, "is it standard procedure to stop a driver without cause, order her out of her vehicle, and threaten escalation when she asserts her legal rights?" Kane shot up a little in his seat. "I didn't threaten." Maya gently opened her binder. "Your exact words per video and transcript were, 'Record this part too. This isn't over.'" Silence swept the room. A commander cleared his throat. Officer Burke, that's highly irregular. Kane glared at Maya. You provoked me. You were being difficult. Maya raised one eyebrow. By existing. A few officials shifted, uncomfortable. Kane whispered. You think you can twist this? I don't need to twist anything, Maya replied. There is documentation, footage, and witnesses. I'm simply stating facts. Merrill nudged Kane's arm. Stop talking. But Kane couldn't. His voice rose. Why didn't you tell me who you were? Maya blinked slowly. Why should I have to? Kane stuttered. Because if I'd known. If you'd known I had power. Her tone was suddenly steel. Authority shouldn't depend on titles. Respect shouldn't depend on job positions. And safety shouldn't depend on whether you recognize a person's influence. Kane's mouth opened, then closed. She leaned forward slightly. You treated me the way you treat those you believe you can intimidate. That's not. It is, she said softly. And the tragedy is that I'm not the first. And if nothing changes, I won't be the last. The official running the meeting cleared his throat. Director Ellis has submitted a formal memorandum requesting review of officer conduct toward health personnel. This includes an emergency protocol requiring de-escalation training and mandatory reporting of any hostile encounters. Another official added. And the mayor's office wants immediate accountability regarding the 2 incidents involving Director Ellis. Kane felt sweat prick his neck. Maya didn't gloat. She didn't smirk. She didn't revel. Her voice remained calm, almost sorrowful. This is not about revenge. This is about safety and justice. For every nurse walking to her car at midnight. For every medical professional who's been treated as a suspect instead of a citizen. She closed her binder gently. And for every woman who has been told she doesn't belong. Kane stared at her, stunned, humiliated, furious, and suddenly unsure of his place in the room. The official turned toward him. Officer Burke, Internal Affairs will require your presence immediately following this meeting. The room shifted, a collective exhale of gravity. Kane swallowed. Hard. Maya held his gaze one last time. Not cruel. Not triumphant. Just unbroken. And in that silence, Kane realized something he'd never considered. He wasn't the one with power anymore. The news broke before Kane even left the building. Maya saw it on her phone as she stepped into the elevator. Officer placed on administrative leave pending investigation. She stared at the headline, pulse tightening, not with triumph, but with a strange, heavy ache. Talia texted instantly. This is huge. Are you okay? Maya didn't answer right away. She wasn't sure. When the elevator doors opened, several staff members in the hallway paused mid-step, looking at her with something she hadn't seen in days, admiration. One nurse whispered, "She really did it." Another added, "About time someone stood up." Maya forced a small nod, but inside her chest was a storm. Jason approached her outside the pharmacy supply room. "Maya," he said gently, "you good?" "I don't know," she admitted. "Everyone's talking. Cameras, comments, meetings. I feel like I'm barely keeping up." "But you're standing," he said. "That counts." She exhaled shakily. "His suspension doesn't erase anything." "No," Jason said. "But it means the system blinked. And sometimes that's the first step." Meanwhile, across the precinct, Kane slammed his locker shut so violently that the metal rang like a struck bell. Riker leaned against a nearby bench. "Man. I told you." "Shut up." Riker lifted his hands. "Just saying, you poked the wrong person." "She wasn't supposed to have that kind of authority," Kane hissed. Riker let out a low whistle. "That's the problem, Burke. You think authority only belongs to people who look like you." Kane's glare was sharp, but he had no comeback. For the first time, he felt something new gnawing at his gut. Not anger. Fear. Sergeant Merrill entered the locker room. "Burke." Kane stiffened. "Internal Affairs wants your duty weapon. And your badge." Kane's pulse jumped. "You're kidding." "No," Merrill said quietly. I wish I were. Kane swallowed as Merrill held out a form. Sign. Kane's hand trembled as he pulled his badge from his chest. The weight of it, the symbol he'd hidden behind for years, felt heavier than ever. As soon as Merrill walked away, Kane sat down hard on the bench, staring at the floor, jaw clenched so tight it shook. He had always believed power came from wearing the uniform. Now the uniform felt like a shell crumbling around him. That evening, Maya cooked dinner with Talia hovering beside her. You should celebrate, Talia said. I mean, girl, you practically moved mountains. Maya stirred the stew silently. Talia frowned. Why do you look sad? Maya paused. Because this isn't just about him. It's about every system that let him act like that for years. Talia softened. True. And because now people online are calling me everything from a hero to a liar. My inbox is full of support. And hate. Talia put a hand on her back. I'm sorry. I'm tired, Maya whispered. Not of fighting. Just of why I had to. Talia hugged her shoulders. You're human, Maya. Humans get tired. Even strong ones. Maya nodded, eyes burning. Later, Maya stepped out onto the apartment balcony. The city lights glimmered softly. A warm summer breeze brushed against her skin. Her phone buzzed. A message from Dr. Alston. Proud of you. Remember, justice is a process, not a moment. Another from the local advocacy group. If you need legal support or security, we're here. And one from the city council liaison. Thank you for your courage. You may have changed policy for every nurse in this city. Maya leaned against the railing, tears slipping silently down her cheeks. Not from pain this time, but from the sheer weight of everything. The system had failed her. But the truth had not. For the first time in days, she felt a small ember of hope stir in her chest. It wasn't victory, but it was movement. And movement mattered. The hearing room was smaller than Maya expected. No cameras, no reporters, just a long table, a row of chairs, and the low hum of a ceiling fan. Internal affairs officers sat across from Kane, their faces unreadable. Maya sat quietly near the back, a legal advocate beside her, hands folded in her lap. Kane didn't look at her. He stared straight ahead, jaw locked, fingers tapping anxiously against his thigh. An IA investigator adjusted his glasses. Officer Burke, we're here to review the misconduct allegations involving Director Maya Ellis. Kane inhaled slowly through his nose. Yes. The investigator opened a folder. We have your reports. And we have video recordings. And we have witnesses, including a physician, 2 hospital staff, and a civilian bystander. Kane shifted. Some of them misunderstood what they saw. Let's test that. The investigator clicked a remote. On the screen, Maya's second traffic stop played. Kane's voice filled the room. Record this part too. This isn't over. The words echoed like something venomous. Kane winced. The investigator paused the video. Officer, can you explain your rationale for delivering this statement? Kane swallowed. She was being argumentative, exercising her legal right to remain in her vehicle. Kane didn't answer. Another investigator leaned forward. You escalated without cause. Twice. Kane's voice rose defensively. She was disrespectful. Disrespect is not probable cause for detainment, the investigator replied. Nor a justification for intimidation. Kane looked down. The senior IA officer flipped through the transcript pages. Your behavior shows a pattern. Kane's eyes flicked up. I enforce the rules. No, the officer said calmly. You enforce your reactions. A long, aching silence settled over the room. Maya watched Kane's composure crack in tiny fractures. She didn't feel triumph. Just a deep, tired sadness. The senior officer continued. We've also received statements from fellow officers regarding previous stops and confrontations involving you. Kane stiffened. Those were cleared. They were dismissed, the officer corrected. Which is different. Kane looked almost confused. So what happens now? We'll conclude shortly, the officer said. But first, Director Ellis has the right to give a formal statement. Maya felt her breath catch. Her advocate touched her arm gently. If you want to speak, speak. She stood slowly. Kane finally turned toward her. His eyes were filled with something she'd never seen in him before. Uncertainty. She stepped forward. Her voice was soft but steady. I don't want vengeance. Kane blinked. Maya continued. I don't want your life ruined. I don't want you harmed. I don't want anything done to you that you've done to others. A murmur passed through the room. I want accountability, she said. I want safety for people who look like me. I want systems that don't crumble when someone with less power asks for fairness. Kane swallowed hard. You thought you could intimidate me, she continued. You thought your authority made you untouchable. But power isn't a weapon. It's a responsibility. Her voice wavered slightly. And I need you to understand the harm you caused. Not just to me, but to the trust people are supposed to feel when they see your uniform. Kane looked down at his hands. I don't hate you, Maya added. I just refuse to be afraid of you. The last line landed like a stone in deep water. The senior officer nodded. Thank you, Director Ellis. Maya returned to her seat. Kane stared straight ahead, breathing fast, chest rising and falling like he was trying to hold something in. Finally, the senior officer closed the folder. Officer Burke, based on the evidence, testimonies, and repeated behavioral concerns, the department recommends termination of employment effective immediately. Kane closed his eyes. His badge, once a shield, once a weapon, was now just a memory dissolving in silence. Maya watched him exhale a long, shaking breath. He didn't look angry. He looked small. For the first time. When Maya stepped out of the building, sunlight hit her face like a warm hand. Talia waited on the sidewalk, eyes bright, arms open. It's done, she asked. Maya nodded. Talia hugged her tightly. You did it. Maya shook her head. No, we did it. Everyone who spoke up did it. Jason approached from across the street, raising a hand. You okay? Maya smiled faintly. Still tired. He grinned. That means you're human. She laughed softly, a sound she hadn't heard from herself in days. They walked toward the car, Talia chatting excitedly, Jason offering to buy dinner, the city humming gently around them. Maya paused for one last look at the building. Justice wasn't perfect. It wasn't clean. It wasn't painless. But it was real. And it was hers. She inhaled deeply, feeling both the weight of the fight and the relief of surviving it. Then she stepped into the sunlight and kept walking forward.